In this video, we're going to talk about the setup of the QML800 system. Now that the lasers are powered up, it's time to launch the QML app. Once we launch the app, it's going to search for the two lasers via the Wi-Fi. When it establishes a connection, I look for the job, select the job, and you'll see that the app shows all the different layers that are in the CAD file. At this point, I can go through all the layers, turn on the ones that are of interest to me, and then start my job. Now that we've got the CAD file in the app, we need to create a couple control lines that duplicate our snap chalk lines on the job site. So by doing that, we are essentially creating the same references both in the app and on the job site. So I'm going to create a control line right now. I zoom into the grid line that I'm looking for, select the control line function, and now you'll see that I can put in a 24-inch offset. I'm going to tap on the grid line, and you can see that there are two options here. I have a control line that I can create above or below this grid line, in which case I want to create a control line below. So I can either tap that directly on the screen, or I can choose this down arrow to select that control line option. Once I select it, it highlights in blue, and then I check it, and we've got our first control line. Now I need to make a second perpendicular control line off another grid line. I'm going to select my grid line and also the option of which side of the grid line I want. Once I select it, I check it, and now I have my control line intersection. So this is the same thing that you would have with your chalk lines on the job site. For QML, we need two control points. So we already have one intersection of control lines. Now I need to make another line, reference line, to create a second control point. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. In this case, I'm doing 300 inches, which is 25 feet. And I'm going to select my control line that I'm referencing to. And you can see that it's created a dashed line here, and that's going to be my reference line for my second control point. Now I'm ready to essentially pick those two intersections and create my first control points. Okay, so I've selected those two intersections and I've created two control points. Now I'm going to start my layout. And this leads us to start axis alignment. So when the green unit swings around, it looks for the blue laser unit. Once it's found the unit, it'll notify the tablet and you can select found unit. If the green unit laser is not in the vicinity of the blue unit, then you'd probably want to hit reflection. So now I'm going to hit found unit. Now the blue laser unit is searching for the green laser unit. Once it's found it, select the button, and now the lasers are aligning to each other. During axis alignment, the two vertical laser beams are going to slowly walk their way towards each other until they line up right on top of each other. Once they line up on top of each other, that's created the axis alignment. Now I have to locate the lasers to the control points on the job site. And I'm going to hit this continue to benching button. And what that does is bring up our video controllers. So you'll see that I have a green controller for my green laser, a blue controller for my blue laser. Each controller has different shades of colors that represent different speeds. Fast, medium, slow, fast, medium, slow in the other direction. The small arrows are my nudge buttons. So when I get close to my control point, I tap on these nudge buttons, and what that does is move the laser in very, very small, fine increments. Same thing goes with the blue laser. These corner laser icons will turn my lasers on and off, and that just helps me see one laser line versus the other. So let's go and steer the lasers onto our control points. So now we're going to our second control point. We want to make sure that we're really being careful when we're picking up these control points. So do your best to position the lasers exactly over the point. Once you've got the second control point located, now you can move on to verify setup. Now that we've located the two control points, the system gives us the option to do what we call verify setup. Verify setup is actually a pretty important step when you're starting a new layout. Essentially what you're doing is you're creating two random points on the job site. You're going to take your tape measure and measure the distance between those 2 points, and then the tablet from the QML system is going to tell you what it thinks that distance should be. Those two distances should coincide to within the tolerance of the system. So now we've marked two random points on the job site, and we've measured those random points using our tape measure. Once we save the second point in the app is telling us what that measurement should be. And I can see that this measurement is matching the measurement on my tape, so now I'm good to start my layout. And I can hit Setup Verified.